Ever wondered how the craft beer movement started? Well, sit back and let's unfold this intriguing tale. Craft beer, a term that echoes through the bustling taverns and cozy pubs of today, is not just a drink, but an art form, a culture in itself. It's a movement that celebrates diversity and innovation, creating a vibrant tapestry of flavors and styles. Beer has been a beloved companion to mankind, dating as far back as the ancient civilizations of Sumerians and Egyptians. This golden brew has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the evolution of societies, and the transformation of cultures. Yet it wasn't until the late 20th century that we saw the birth of craft beer, a revolution that changed the beer industry forever. This isn't just about brewing, but about the passion, creativity, and dedication that goes into every bottle. Now, to understand the craft beer movement, we must take a trip back in time. The craft beer movement has its roots in the 1960s and 1970s. These were transformative decades, characterized by a surge of socio-cultural changes that swept across the globe. People were yearning for a break from the norm, craving for something unique, something authentic. It was a period of exploration and a quest for originality, and this was mirrored in the world of beer. In the midst of this cultural revolution, the beer industry was dominated by big breweries producing largely similar mass-market beers. But there were those who yearned for more. They sought diversity, they sought flavor, and they sought quality over quantity. Enter the likes of Jack McAuliffe, a Navy veteran with a taste for the rich, flavorful beers he'd encountered during his time in Scotland. Back stateside, McAuliffe found the beer scene lacking, but rather than settle for less, he decided to brew his own. In the late 1970s, McAuliffe founded the New Albion Brewery in Sonoma, California, igniting the spark of the craft beer movement. New Albion was the first microbrewery of its kind, a beacon of hope for beer enthusiasts across the nation. McAuliffe's venture was a labor of love, a testament to the passion and dedication that would become the cornerstone of the craft brewing industry. New Albion didn't just brew beer, it brewed inspiration. It paved the way for a new generation of brewers who were not afraid to experiment, to push the boundaries of traditional brewing. They sought to resurrect forgotten beer styles, to infuse classic recipes with a dash of creativity, and to put quality and taste back at the heart of beer production. But this was just the beginning. The stage was set, the spark had been ignited, and the craft beer movement was about to take off. Little did these pioneers know that their passion for brewing would lead to a revolution, a renaissance of beer that would forever change the way we think about this age-old beverage. The stage was set, and the craft beer movement was about to take off. By the 1980s, the craft beer movement was in full swing. The 80s were a time of great change and innovation, and the brewing industry was no exception. A wave of craft breweries began to flood the market, challenging the dominance of mass-produced beers. Among these pioneering breweries were names like Sierra Nevada and Samuel Adams, brands that are now synonymous with the craft beer movement. Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, founded in 1980, was one of the first to gain national recognition. Known for its pale ale, the brewery introduced a new level of flavor and complexity to beer that many Americans hadn't experienced before. Their success demonstrated that there was a market for beers that strayed from the conventional light lagers that had been dominating the shelves. Around the same time, Samuel Adams, or Boston Beer Company, made its debut. Their flagship Boston Lager quickly became a favorite among beer lovers, offering a balance of rich malt complexity and hop bitterness. Their beer not only tasted different, but it was also marketed differently. Samuel Adams positioned itself as a beer for those who appreciated quality and were willing to pay a bit more for it. As these craft breweries began to gain popularity and market share, they started to influence the larger beer industry. The big beer companies could no longer ignore the craft beer movement. They saw the potential in this new market and started to produce their own versions of craft beers, or in some cases, even acquiring successful craft breweries. The success of these breweries also paved the way for new entrants. The number of craft breweries exploded from just 8 in 1980 to over 600 by the end of the decade. This rise of craft breweries was not just a trend, it was a revolution. A revolution that was about to change the beer industry forever. As the 90s approached, craft beer was no longer a niche, but a growing trend. This shift in the beer industry marked the beginning of a new era, an era where quality, flavor, and creativity reigned supreme. The 90s and 2000s saw an explosion in the number of craft breweries. This period was a bona fide renaissance for beer lovers worldwide. What started as a niche movement soon began to ripple across the globe, reshaping the industry in its wake. Craft beer was far more than just a trend. It was a revolution, a seismic shift in beer culture that challenged the status quo. For decades, beer had been defined by big brands, their monolithic factories churning out uniform brews. The craft beer revolution shattered this mold, ushering in an era of diversity and creativity. This period was marked by an exponential increase in the number of craft breweries. From a handful in the early 90s, the number surged to thousands by the end of the 2000s. But it wasn't just the sheer volume of these breweries that was remarkable. It was the audacious spirit of innovation that they embodied. The craft beer movement was about more than just quantity. It was about quality. Brewers began to experiment with unique ingredients, ancient brewing techniques, and bold flavors. They tinkered with hops and malts, yeast strains, and water profiles, creating bespoke brews that were as varied as they were delicious. Craft beer became a canvas for creativity, a platform for experimentation. Brewers were no longer just manufacturers. They were artists, their brew kettles and fermenters, their easels and palettes. Each batch was a work of art, a testament to the brewer's skill and imagination. Moreover, the craft beer revolution was about community. It was about the shared experiences of brewing and tasting, of discovering new flavors and styles together. Breweries became gathering places, their tap rooms buzzing with lively conversations and laughter. The craft beer revolution fundamentally changed our relationship with beer. It transformed it from a mere commodity into a craft, a passion, a pursuit. It raised the bar for quality, pushing brewers to constantly innovate and improve. It brought flavor and diversity back into the beer industry, challenging the dominance of mass-produced lagers. Craft beer had indeed started a revolution. It redefined what beer could be, and in doing so, it inspired a new generation of brewers and beer lovers alike. Craft beer wasn't just a beverage, it was a movement, a culture, a way of life, and it was here to stay. Today, the craft beer movement is stronger than ever. With the turn of the 21st century, the craft beer scene has seen a surge like never before. Every corner of the globe, from the bustling cities to the quiet countryside, is witnessing a beer renaissance. And it's all thanks to the craft beer movement. In the modern world, craft breweries are not just places where beer is made. They are hubs of innovation and creativity. These breweries are continually pushing the boundaries of what beer can be. They are experimenting with new flavors, using unique ingredients, and even playing around with the brewing process itself. From coffee-infused stouts to fruity IPAs, the variety of craft beers on offer is truly staggering. But the influence of the craft beer movement goes beyond just the beer. It's also about promoting local economies and sustainable practices. When you buy a craft beer, you're not just purchasing a beverage, you're supporting local farmers who grow the hops, the malt, and other ingredients. You're helping to create jobs in your community, and you're investing in an industry that values quality over quantity. Furthermore, many craft breweries are committed to reducing their environmental impact. They're implementing energy-efficient brewing processes, recycling their waste, and even using renewable energy sources. It's a testament to the fact that the craft beer movement is not just about making great beer, it's about making a difference. And let's not forget about the community aspect. Craft breweries are often the heart of their communities, hosting events, supporting local causes, and bringing people together over a shared love of good beer. The modern craft beer movement is a celebration of creativity, sustainability, and community. It's about taking something as simple as beer and turning it into an experience, a statement, a passion. It's a testament to the power of small-scale, artisanal production in a world increasingly dominated by large corporations. From its humble beginnings, the craft beer movement has changed the way we think about beer. It's not just a drink anymore, it's a lifestyle, a community, a revolution, and it's only getting stronger. So, what have we learned about the craft beer movement? Well, we've journeyed from the humble beginnings of the craft beer movement, a time when beer enthusiasts began to rebel against the monotony of mass-produced beers. They sparked a renaissance that has evolved into a thriving culture of beer connoisseurs and brewers. We've recognized key figures who dared to brew beyond the ordinary, pushing boundaries and creating unique, flavorful brews. These pioneers have paved the way for a multitude of craft breweries, each bringing their own signature touch to the art of brewing. We've also seen the transformative impact of the craft beer revolution on the beer industry. It has redefined beer culture globally, inspiring a new generation of brewers and beer lovers. It's a testament to the power of creativity, passion, and the pursuit of quality. Next time you sip on a craft beer, remember the journey it took to get to your glass.